Hello and welcome everyone to today's video where I want to show you how you can install SENAITE LIMS on a fresh Ubuntu 24.04 Linux server installation. You see already we are logged into the terminal, and first of all we need to provide Python 2.7. Yes, we still depend on Python 2.7 and most of the Linux distributions don't ship with it anymore. Therefore, we have to install it manually. But no worries, there's a great tool called pyenv that we can use and that will do all the heavy lifting for us. So pyenv, you will find it in the internet on GitHub. There, when you scroll a little bit down, then we have here the documentation of this. Make it a little bit bigger. When you go here to the Getting pyenv, then you see directly here it is available for Linux, macOS and Windows. So we go to Linux and then we can use the automatic installer. This we can copy, go back to our terminal and simply paste. Since I installed already curl, so that command simply works, but maybe you have to install curl on your machine if you don't have it already. For me, it shows now a little warning here that it cannot proceed with the installation because I have already installed it before. So the install directory is in the home folder .pyenv. So clear. Oops. And the next step is that you get the pyenv command, you need to set up your terminal, your shell. And to do so, we can use again the documentation, scroll down to section B and extend here the section where your shell is located. Since I'm using the CSH here, I'm expanding this one, and then it shows me these three commands that I have to execute in the terminal. And basically what it does is to insert in the zshrc these lines at the end to initialize. The zshrc, this is or the bashrc, so when you are on bash, this is the file that gets loaded when you start your shell session. So I did that already as well. So when we go to tail and say zshrc, then we see exactly these three lines are in there. The next step is to reload the terminal so that this file gets is again loaded, and this is in section C. So we have to just copy that command as well, and then we say exec shell. And here we are. Now we have the pyenv command available on our machine. The next step is to install some system packages, because pyenv will install Python from the source. So it needs to compile it, and therefore all of the development libraries need to be in place. So I'm going to copy that quickly. So this is the line. So clear. Here we go. No worries. I'm going to leave that line in the comments below so you don't have to install it manually. But more or less it is the build essentials and some development libraries. You see here I did that already, so everything is installed as well. So finally we can install Python. And the good thing with pyenv is that you can install any Python version you like. So be it just like 2, be it one of the 3 versions, or PyPy or stackless Python, you name it. So pyenv install -list gives you a full list of all of the possible installations that you can use. There you see already PyPy is in there. So let's scroll a little bit faster up. Miniforge, this is something I don't know. MambaForge, Jython, Anaconda, ActivePython, and here are the main CPython versions. So 3.14 and so on and so forth, and it is just like Here we go, 2.7. So the latest is here 2.7.18. This one is the one that we would like to install. And therefore, it is quite easy. So it is also mentioned here, pyenv install 3.10.4 in this case. For us, it is pyenv install 2.7.18. So I did that also already, but when you execute it, it will fetch the source distribution from the internet, from the official Python org website, and compile it on your computer. And maybe apply some patches as well, depending on the machine you are. So I did that already. Therefore, I have here in the versions, it shows already here the 2.7.18, which happens to be now also my version that is used for my user. So it is not the system Python, but it is the 2.7.18. And therefore, when I say Python global 2.7.18, so this shifts then not Python, but pyenv. So pyenv global. So this one is the one that is used when you type in Python. So since this command is no longer used, the newer Python versions use Python 3. They can live side by side. So you can, of course, make it just like global for your user without any side effects. So the system Python is still Python 3. So this one is the one that's coming with Ubuntu. So we have everything in place. And the next step is what we want to do to create a virtual environment. So this is helpful to if you would like to install some additional packages that are required. For us, it will be setup tools and CC Buildout, things like that. So without cluttering the global namespace, so that it don't get installed in the side packages of your global interpreter, but of the virtual env. So the virtual env always derives from a global interpreter. To do so, we also use, so back to the screen now. So here we are, to my terminal multiplexer. When we go back to our pyenv website, then we see here there is a package called pyenv virtual env. And this one can be used to create virtual envs using pyenv. And this is really cool because you don't have to install the plugin, because it comes already with the plugin when you use the installer script. And then we are here in usage. And how it works is pyenv, then virtual env as the command. Then you say which Python version you would like to use. And then you say the name of your virtual environment. And this is what we want to do. I also did that. So they are then listed with pyenv versions. I did that also already. So mine is called Python 2.7 SENAITE. But the command is pyenv virtual env, then 2.7.18, and then the name of it. So Python 2.7 SENAITE, for instance, already exists. So everything is fine. To activate now this virtual environment, it is also just like pyenv virtual env. Is it activate or just like activate, I guess? Activate Python 2.7 SENAITE, it says it already. So here we go. And for my prompt, it shows me already that that I'm now in a virtual environment, because it says here Python 2.7 SENAITE. So we are good to go. So we are now in a virtual environment. Okay, so far so good. Now we are going to create a folder where we install SENAITE later. So we name that SENAITE, but of course you can name it whatever you like. Then we cd into it, and then we would like to first install some dependencies, like we need to have a Buildout installed, as I mentioned before, and setup tools. So therefore, instead of using just like the pip command, we are using a requirements file. And here we mention the requirements with their pinned versions. So for setup tools, we use 44.11, so known good versions, and CC Buildout 2.13.8, and then we use here wheel. I come to CC Buildout in a moment. Afterwards, we can use the pip command. So pip install -r. So this pip command is now just like coming from the virtual env. So the packages will be installed in as side packages of the virtual env because we activated it before. And then we can say requirements. And here we go. So everything will be installed. So even just like pip freeze will show us that we have here CC Buildout installed. Seems like setup tools are not mentioned here. So, but that's how it works. So clear again. And now coming to CC Buildout, what is that? So CC Buildout is more or less like, what do they say about themselves? It's a tool for automating software assembly. And you can think of just like when you executing make, it will make just like the whole project and download the dependencies. So a self-contained folder structure. And instead of a make file, we have there a buildout.cfg or buildout configuration. And this is exactly what we want to do now. So we are in the SENAITE directory. So we go to buildout.cfg, set bg equals dark. So that is a little bit better to see. And then you see the buildout configuration file. Buildout configuration file is managed in sections. So these are those in square brackets here. And within each section, we have multiple options. When we go top down, so buildout is the main section. There we mention all just like the index where the packages can be found and also find links. The extent, this is a buildout can also extend another buildout file. And this one is the pinned version for Plone version 5.2.14. And then we have here parts where other sections are referenced. So here, for instance, we have instance, and this is where the SOAP4 instance, despite the name SOAP2 instance, it is actually the SOAP4 instance will be set up there, where this is just like the application where SENAITE sits on top of it. And this uses a recipe. So just like to give you a little bit insight about this recipe. So you will find it on PyPy. So go away. So soap2 instance. So let's have a look. Here we go. And what is it? This recipe creates and configures a SOAP instance in parts. Despite its name, it nowadays only works for SOAP4+. And here you see also example configuration, and when you scroll a little bit down, then you see also the options that can be used, like X and HTTP address, and so on and so forth. So you can read through them. Also the WSGI is here. Everything is just like documented. So just like remember, when you change something in the buildout file, you need to rerun buildout. So like the buildout command with that configuration file. All right, so we have an instance, and then we have some pinned versions. So you see here we pinned the SENAITE LIMS version to 2.5.0, and this is the latest released version from us. So actually we are working, currently we are working on 2.6.0, and this is development branch, but it's not yet released. So we stick to the released version here, and then there is another version pin. So you might ask, why is it needed? And this is in fact, it is a dependency from SENAITE that we did not pin so far. So required to generate Excel files. And the reason why I had to pin this one here to 1.1.0 and not the latest version, because they dropped Python 2 support in the latest version. So you will get a build-out error that this file is not longer compatible when it downloads with the latest version. So let's have a quick look. So it is etxml file. So here it is. Also can be found on PyPy. And here we see the latest versions. So I'm in the release history. And here the 2.0.0 is the latest one. But this one is no longer compatible with 2.7. So this one is the one that is still compatible. You can always scroll down and see it here on the left-hand side, which Python version can be used. So you see already here, there's just version 3 only available here. So it requires Python 3.8 at least. All right, now everything should be in place. So our build-out file is in place. So we are going to save that. And now we can run the build-out process. It is just like running make. And we just like which build-out, just like check if it is in place. Yeah, it comes from just like our virtual environment. It is wrapped in shims, how they like to call it in pyenv. So we can simply say buildout -c for configuration file, but this is the default is buildout cfg. So let's have a just like run this. But before I forget it, so I have to press Ctrl C here because I forgot one important step. And good that I thought about it once again, because SENAITE itself also requires some dependencies and to generate the PDF reports, because we are using wheezyprint as our PDF engine, and this one requires libraries on your system to generate these PDFs. And I'm going to simply paste that here inside. So this one is that one. So we need libpcre, libcairo, libpango, and so on and so forth. So we are going to install this. Also, I will share this line in the comments below. And there we should be good to go. Small excurse. Here, this one is wheezyprint. So here you see the original website. So this is where how we generate from HTML PDF reports in SENAITE. So also worth to check it out and see what is possible for reports in SENAITE. Okay, we are good to go, and now we can again build out -c buildout cfg, and here we go. I did that also already here in the local directory. Therefore, it is no longer required on this machine to download all the packages. So it takes longer for you when you do it initially, because it needs to first download all the archives, then it extracts it, then the X were just like put into the X folder, everything local, and then finally all of the binaries are created, like the instance script and so on. So everything worked, and now the last step is to start up SENAITE. So let's have a look. Inside the bin folder, so here we go, ls-l. So this is how it looks like after the build-out is run. We have a bin folder, we have our build-out configuration file, we have some developx, then the downloads folder. This is where all the archives are stored. In the X folder, all the Python X that are linked into just like the binaries here. Inside the parts, there's where the instance, the SOAP2 instance, or SOAP4, pardon, 4 instance lives. Our requirements file that we created earlier, and inside the var folder there will be the database and blob storage stored. So in bin, we have now here bin instance. So you see this is exactly the name of our part where we created the SOAP instance in the buildout CFG. And now we can say bin instance foreground FG, so to see what's happening, so that we get all of the logs directly here in the terminal. So I'm going to start that. And since I configured the server to listen on any IP, which is, by the way, not really recommended, so that you just like open a port from a server when it is, especially when it is in the internet. You should always have a web server in front and only listen on localhost. But for us now, just because we want to have one exposed instance, it is fine. So you see here now we are serving on 0008080. So that should be fine. And now we need to know, of course, because I'm here on a virtual machine, I need to know my IP address, so IPA. So it is 192.168.238 and 158. So let's go back to this screen. Here we go. So, and then 8080. Here we go. And here you see now the installation screen of SENAITE. And then you can say create new SENAITE instance. It is admin if you did not change it from the beginning. And here we go. I don't want to save it. Then you can say, okay, the language is here English. Time zone, I leave it for now. And then we say create SENAITE instance. And if you are interested, yeah, you can see all of the things that's happening in the background. And at one point, everything will be installed and we will be redirected to the front page of SENAITE. So let's give it a moment to install everything for us. Here we go. Congratulations, you successfully installed SENAITE on Ubuntu 24.04. All right, that was everything for today's video. I hope that video was helpful for you. And if you like contents like this, please make sure to subscribe. And I would be happy if you add a comment below. And that's it. Then see you in the next video. Bye bye.